Hi everyone, this is Mónica Ramírez, and we're going to be talking about the principle of perpetual transmutation of energy. What does that mean? You ask yourself, because even science knows that everything is changing, everything is transmuting, nothing stays static. So, or stays like that forever. We are very different human beings than we were 5 years ago, and we're going to be very different in 5 years in the future. And that talks about that we are creating that reality constantly, depending on we're continuing transforming and transforming. Now we have more white hairs, or we have more wrinkles, or a kid, you can see the evolution of being a baby and becoming an adult to an older person, because there's law states that we're in a perpetual transmutation. You can see it in plants, you can see it in animals, everything. It is in perpetual transmutation. So, from a metaphysical perspective, this principle highlights the power of the intention and the free will. Science, since energy is always shifting, we have the ability to direct and influence that energy to create positive outcomes in our lives. This aligns with the concept of manifestation. Why? Because we understand that we're not going to stay there forever, in this moment and forever. It is going to change. This is very, very helpful when you're depressed, that you understand this law precisely, that you know that you're in the perpetual transmutation. You're not going to stay depressed for the rest of your life. And if you remember that, it is easier to move from that emotion to the next one, so you can have a different life experience. Now, in the part of manifestation about that, if someone is seeking a promotion at work, they may start it by visualizing the desired outcome, like we talked in the past, affirming their worth and focusing on the energy and growth. And they know, and they have the confidence that they're not going to stay there forever. Like, let's say you're working a bank and you're a teller. You're not going to be a teller unless you choose different, of course, but you start visualizing, okay, one day I'm going to be the manager of the bank. And I imagine already that I am the manager of the bank. So you start getting the tools and so forth. So like that, you can get the studies or whatever, so you can become the manager of the bank, and you don't have to be a teller the rest of your life. But the opportunities are going to open for you when you put your wish and your visualization. What do you really want to be? You feel complete and fulfilled being the cashier, you're not going to imagine to be the manager of the bank. You're going to imagine continue being the cashier for the rest of your life. You see, we're creating the manifestation by this law of perpetual transmutation. We're creating the movement in our lives wherever we want to go. Obviously, the pessimist is going to have it hard, because the pessimists do not imagine pretty things or nice things in their future. They're always thinking in the bad things. But with this law of perpetual transmutation, it's going to take them to whatever they wish, whatever they program, whatever contract it comes out through their mouth. I'm never going to find love. Guess what? They're saying and they imagine that. That's what they're going to attract. So be aware of that. Now, when you are angry, instead of letting go that energy that consumes you, choose to channel it and understand that that is going to pass. You don't have to stay angry forever. So you know that that anger in this moment, you can say to the person that you're angry, in this moment, I'm very angry. Just give me time so I can have the perpetual transmutation, so it can change that energy. Go and walk, go and meditate, write it out, yell it out, whatever it is, so you know you can come back to your peace. You don't have to stay there unless you want to. So in the financial parts, imagine that you have financial struggles, and that can be seen as a permanent state, but as an opportunity to shift your energy from a scarcity mindset of the lack of abundance. So if you feel that I'm always going to be poor, that I'm always going to have a lack of abundance and so forth, you're programming your life and you don't want to get out. But if you apply the law of the principle of the perpetual transmutation, you say, okay, in this moment, I don't have enough to buy a new computer, let's put it like that, or a new home, a new car, whatever it is that you want. But I know I'm going to have the money sooner or later, so I can buy the new house, the new car, the new computer, new whatever you want. And you start bringing that abundance and you start imagining yourself creating that reality. Some of the laws are very similar. You just have a little difference between them. And a lot of it's intention and visualization. So we can transform them. If you want to, in the self-improvement and growth, the principle is highly applicable in the personal development. You find yourself stuck in a negative habits and mindset, understand that energy is always changing, that can motivate you and take small steps to shift your current state. If you're feeling blocked, you don't have to stay there. That's a choice. Like one of my teachers told me when I started doing my inner work and my process, she told me, it is going to be as painful as you want. And I'm like, oh, I can change that. And I did. So it was became my transformation less painful. And that's a choice too. For example, adopting a daily practice of gratitude can shift the energy from negative to positive, which influence your actions and your outcome. Because remember, when we're grateful and we're saying thank you for everything, whatever we have, thank you for being healthy, thank you because I wake up and I am energized and I feel great, and I know positive things are going to come in my life. Being grateful, you're going to receive more what you were grateful for. So be aware of that. So in the business and creativity, let's say a business owner is facing a financial challenges. They may feel stuck and overwhelmed. By applying the principle, they can shift their focus to solutions, such as exploring new marketers, new rethinking, and it's basically is thinking how I can fix this problem. Right now, this program is not selling much. So how I can change this? And just saying how I can change this, you're opening to different possibilities and new strategies of how to sell your product or whatever it is. So be aware of that because you can change anything. In conflicts, in relationships, you're going to find the same thing. So it says, in this moment, yes, okay, I'm angry at my husband or my mate or my son or whoever it is. But you know that it's going to change in the moment you stop focusing in the anger. So you only focus on the anger, it's because they did this and this to me, and they yell at me and they did this to me. You're going to continue there. But if you apply the perpetual transmutation, the principle, you can say, okay, I know I can shift this situation. So I'm going to start thinking and treating my partner in a different way. Like one time I received an advice that it was very, very good. That it says, when they pick up the trash, I know that's their job to do it. Let's put it like this, it's their job to do it. But if they take the trash outside and you just be grateful when they come in, like, thank you for throwing the trash. Thank you for putting your dishes in the sink. Thank you for paying the bill. Whatever it is, you're going to be creating more of what you want. So apply this law. It might help you to change your reality. And I will see you in the next video. that we're going to be talking about the principles of correspondence. Hi everyone, this is Mónica Ramírez. We're going to be talking about the law of correspondence. And the law of correspondence states that as is above is below, as is below is above. So basically, this principle, the idea of this principle is the harmony and is the agreement. It is the correspondence between different planes and existence, physical, mental, and spiritual. What happened in one level of reality, it reflects and influences the other realities at the same time. So you're thinking, I am sick. Oh my God, the doctor told me that I have this sickness and they cannot heal me and so forth. It is going to manifest easier in your thought, in your reality. It's going to be becoming really like the doctor said, because you have accepted. The principle corresponds in the second, in the seven laws of Hermes Trismegistus, express that the idea that of the harmony and agreements and correspondence between different planes and existence, the physical, the mental, and the spiritual. The principle often summarized by the phrase as below, as so below, as below, as so above. So how is here is over there. So I apply this a lot in the personal level. Like if I wanted to know what someone is thinking about me, is how do I feel about this person? Oh, I don't like this person. It is too noisy, or it's too vulgar, or it's too this, or it's too that. I feel like that. Well, guess what? The other person is feeling exactly the same way as for me. Like it's like in a way that is above, it is below, like as is below, it is above. So like how is here is there, how is there is over here, in another way to say it. So be aware of that one, and you can, in a way, be more psychic if you want to put it like that. The core concept of the principle of correspondence suggests that the microcosmos in the microcosmos is this minor scale, you, reflects the microcosmos at large. That's why they say that we have another, like we have mountains and rivers, we have a life outside on top of the planet Earth. That's why there is many theories that there is also one underneath of us and also in another planets. Because how is here, it should go also in below us with another cities and beneath us and under the earth and also in another planets. Why we think that we're going to be the only planet with life? By this law of the principle of correspondence is talking about, and in other planets, it should be life like it is in this planet. So in the human body, the application will be the human body can be seen as a reflection of the large universe. Because you see, we have a universe inside of us. Just as the universe is composed and interconnected systems as a tools in the human bodies, you see in a way our molecules are all connected and communicating between them, and they form different organs like the heart, the liver, etc., and so forth. The same it is outside of us. So the law of correspondence, in a way, it is teaching us how if we wanted to understand how it works outside, or there's chaos outside of us, wars and so forth, there is also a chaos inside of us. We don't feel happy with the government, we don't feel like this and that. That is also happening in a nation. So let's put it in our human body. Consider the structure of an atom, where the electrons and orbits around the nucleus. similar to the planet's orbits around the sun. The human body, it is a complex system of organs and cells, each working with harmony, most likely like the planets in the solar system. So, and the stars and the galaxies and so forth, just exactly as we do in our own molecules. By studying the body, we can gain insight into the universe by understanding the cosmic patterns that can be better understood. We can see it in the society. We can see it in nature and technology. Like, for example, the design of a modern airplane, it is based on a principle of the bird flying. That's where it comes from. If we don't understand the bird, we would not have planes, and maybe not even rockets. Engineers study the structure of the bird wings to create efficient flying machines. So think about that. So we want to understand how to create things bigger than a little fly. We can, but we have to study the little one first so we can create the big one. In the chemistry of transformation, an example will be in a spiritual chemistry, the process of purifying and refining the soul to reach enlightenment corresponds to the physical process of turning lead into gold. Remember that's old search that they've been trying, the scientists before even science became science. But in that time, they were trying to become lead to gold. Both processing involves in the stages of purification and separation and recombination, reflecting similar principles in a different levels. So let's say you want to transform yourself, you have to do the inner work. It is not going to come out just charan. Now I'm illuminated. Now I am ascended, and I didn't have to do the shame and the blame and the guilt and the fears and all those. I did not have to do that work. That is not going to happen. You have to do the inner work, so then you can be reflected from outside. Hi everyone, this is Mónica Ramírez, the Warrior of Love. And if you have been feeling stuck where you are right now, or if you have felt that you cannot connect with others in the same language or the same emotions that you're feeling, if you're a coach, a healer, energy worker, in any of those branches, maybe this is for you. Because we have felt the disconnection for the rest of our family, friends, that we cannot connect to them. And we're so afraid to actually go deep dive when we're getting triggered by our own clients because we're seeing our mirror image with them. My name is Mónica Ramírez, the Warrior of Love, and that's my spiritual name. And I take clients from feeling confused and feeling stuck to feeling free, to feeling that they feel empowered from themselves. I created a system, Path to the Heart, that goes in 3 levels. And the first level, it is healing the inner child, healing the parts of us that we've been so afraid, or it's very painful to do it. I have done it myself, not only with me, and I have done it with many of my clients, that I take them to this process. The second level, it is to go more into inner self, clearing the family lineage, to breaking the contracts and vows, learning deeper more about the laws of the universe. And the third level, it is learning how to channel, how to do waking up your and getting online your gifts, your unique gifts that the world so much needs right now. So if you wanted to know more about this, I am eager to show you and to teach you all what I know that I use every day in my life. So thank you for being here in this page. I really appreciate it. And this is Mónica Ramírez, the Warrior of Love. We see it more in astronomy or astrology. The astrologers observe the position of the planets and the stars at different time. A person's birth interpreted just the personality traits and potential of life events. You see, the practice of based on beliefs that celestial events correspond to each one of the humans by their signs. So right now we're in Libra and we're going to pass to a Scorpio. So you can see that in the fractals too. In the fractals, there one little piece, it becomes you can see in these beautiful paintings that it is from one little piece and it becomes a bigger picture. There's that fractal that I highly recommend to you observe because they have also a macro and microcosmos at the same time. You see, even a leaf that you can see the veins going outside and so forth, and then you see it in the whole nature, in the whole forest. It is just amazing. Now, we're gonna go to the next video. Then we're gonna be talking about the principles of polarity. Hi, this is Mónica Ramírez, Warrior of Love, and today we're gonna be talking about the principles of polarity. Everything is dual. Everything has poles. Everything has their pair of opposites, the yin and the yang, the masculine and the feminine, the positive and the negative. This principle asserts that all things exist in pairs of opposites, like light and dark, hot and cold, hate and love. The opposites are different degrees at of the same thing. Think about it. So everything is dual, everything has poles, everything has its own pair of opposites. Everything. Like like and unlike. The opposites are identical in nature, but in different degrees. Extremes meet all the time, like the yin and the yang. All the truths are, but half truths also are there. That's a paradox that we live in the principle of polarity. The core concept of the principle of polarity teaches that opposites are not separated or distinct, but they are different manifestations of the same thing. They are just opposites at the end of an spectrum. Then you see a spectrum of when you're drawing, you can go from very dark to very light. In graphite, just make some lines in graphite and make it very soft and more hard, and it's going to become darker. They're all from graphite. They're different shades, but that doesn't mean that they're not shades. They're different, just different tonalities. Opposites are identical in nature, but in different degree, like making shading in graphite. The temperatures from hot and cold. And have you touched something that it is so cold that it feels hot? Or so hot that feels cold? That applies also for love. I am so in love with someone that sometimes I don't know if I want to see them. Or I hate someone so much that I want to see them. That is confusing, right? But well, we're talking about the polarities because at the end, it is the same thing. In the emotions between love and hate are emotions and they see opposites. But according to this principle of polarity, they're two of the same spectrum. So when someone hates you, is because they're loving you. And if someone loves you, they can hate you. We have the light and the darkness. Light and the darkness are they're polar opposites. They're both related to the presence of the absence of light or excess of light. Truth and falsehood. Truth and falsehood are seen opposites, but they exist on the continued perception of understanding at the same time. So I want you to observe and think in examples. In the philosophy concepts of polarity, the good and the evil, good and evil are moral opposites, but they can exist in a continuum of a human behavior and intentions. You can love someone so much that you choke them with your emotion and you don't let them breathe. You see? And now we'll see you in the next video. That we're going to be talking about the law or the principle of rhythm. And this principle says everything flows out and in. Everything has their tides and everything rise and fall. So basically, whatever it goes up is going to go down, and that's a rhythm. You cannot be happy all the time or mad all the time. You're going to go up and down. It have a rhythm. We already know that everything is in movement. But this one, it tells us that it's going to be ups and downs. So the principle of rhythm asserts that everything is flowing in and out, rise or fall, and moves in cycles. This principle can be observed in the natural world, humans' emotions, society trends, and even the process of mind and spirit. So you see it in fashions that goes, this is what is in, and later on, this is what is out. So you're living in what is, you have to dress like in the fashion way. Yeah, that's those shoes that you bought $800. Right now they're in. Yeah, in a few months or in a year or 2 years, those are out. No one wants those shoes. Like the clothes of the 80s. I'm an 80s girl. So you know what I'm talking about. Now, you see it in the day or the night. We have the peak of the darkest hour of the night, and then we have the peakest hour of the day in the day. So this is a simple one to concept to understand the principles of rhythm. In the human emotions, a person might experience a period of intense happiness followed by a phase of sadness and calmness. And it says, am I getting crazy? Everybody passed through that. It is not only you. So don't judge yourself so hard. In economics, you can see how sometimes it goes, the cycles of the boom and the boost of different Tesla or whatever, it goes up, up, but sooner or later it's going to go down. Why? Because this is one of the laws and it's going to happen. It doesn't matter when, but it will happen. And you can see it with your energy. Right now, you have a lot of energy, and later on, you don't have a lot of energy. Nothing can stay perpetual, remember. So it have to be a law of, in the laws of rhythm, in the principle of rhythm, it have to be a balance and the balance and harmony. The principle of rhythm teaches that everything has a time to grow and decline, opposites of contraction and expansion. So sometimes you're going to feel your personal growth, your spiritual work, like expanding, 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 and then you're going to feel contracting and contracting and contracting. That is part of the process. Don't get scared. Again, when you contract later on, you're going to expand. There's always that we're gonna be going to those rhythms. So don't get scared when you're feeling that is happening in your life. So we're gonna go to the next video. In the next video, we're gonna see the principles of cause and effect. Hi everyone, this is Mónica Ramírez, and we're gonna be talking today about the cause and effect. And another words for this one, it is karma and dharma. So these laws state that everything has an effect and everything has a cause. So the core concept of this one, it is that everything happens, everything affects you, your experience has an origin, basically a cause. Whenever that cause, it is physical, mental, or spiritual, the principle implies that by understanding and influencing the causes, we can change the effect. It also emphasizes that nothing happens for random chances. Everything follows for a logical sequence. Everything cause has an effect, and every effect has a cause. Everything that happens according to a law. Chances, the chance it is a law per se. Nothing it is recognized at the same time. There are many planes and causations, but nothing escapes the law. Let's say in the we're talking about the cause and the laws of the cause and effect, or karma dharma. That's another way to call it. In many cultures, they call them that. That if you do harm to someone because you were jealous or envy or whatever, that's the cause. Well, the effect is going to be that person is going to hate you, going to try to destroy you, harm you, or something like that. That's the effect of your envy or your competition or whatever you did to that person. So that is a simple one to understand, guys. And the Dharma, it is if you do something good to someone, just because you wanted to do something good for someone, the effect it is gonna the effect it is gonna be you're gonna receive also abundance of love or companion or a good friend or loyalty, whatever it is, depending on what you did for someone else. In the physics and natural laws, Newton's third law of motion states, for every action there's an equal opposite reaction. So as much as you do something good for someone or bad, you're going to receive the payment back for the same thing that you did, good or bad. That's our choice, what we're going to do. In the health and life, if someone eats a diet in a high processed food and sugars, the cause is poorly dietary choices, and the effect might be you're going to gain weight or lower energy. You're going to have health issues. Probably you're going to even get diabetes. Why? Because you were eating too much sugars. So there's a cause and effect about the choices that we do about our healthy choices. In the relationships, if a person constantly shows kindness and support and understanding towards their partner, the cause of the positive behavior and effect are going to be strong in a healthy and loving relationship. But if you treat your partner like, get out of here, you're an asshole, you're this, you treat him horrible, you don't put attention to them, and he look for someone else or he asks you for the divorce, don't be surprised. That's the cause and the effect. In the career, a person who constantly works hard, improves their skills, and builds a network of professional contacts, that's the cause, is likely to experience a career advancement and recognition, financial rewards. Why? Because that's the cause and the effect. In education, it works the same. You study a lot, you're going to have good grades. So in social and political movements, the civil rights movement in the United States was driven by a cause of the systematic racism and inequality and activism of the leaders like Martin Luther King. The effects were that now we have laws against that racism. My dad used to tell me that when he was little, he was born in the 24 United States, that they used to have signs in the restaurants, no dogs or Mexicans allowed. Well, obviously, that was the cause was the racism, and we have to go to a civil rights movement, and now that is not permitted anymore. Cause and effect. So think about that before you react, and you act with someone because you're going to pay for it sooner or later. There's always the law of cause and effect. So you can know, you can predict what is coming for you or what is coming for anyone by the law of cause and effect. In the next video, we're going to be talking about the principle of gender. Hi everyone, this is Mónica Ramírez, and we're going to be talking about the principle of gender. The principle of gender, it is everything has a masculine and a feminine. I have a masculine, a male have feminine. We have both in ourselves and in everything that we observe and see. Source energy, in fact, has a male and a female energy. It is not female or is not male. So this states that the gender exists in everything and manifests in the masculine and the feminine principles. These principles do not prefer strictly or biological sex. So it's not telling you, oh, this has to be masculine or this has to be feminine. We have both, every single human being, we have both in ourselves. This principle of gender suggests that everything contains both masculine and feminine, the active and the assertive. If, and the feminine is more positive and receptive. Again, I clarify, the masculine is active and assertive. The feminine, it is passive and receptive. Energies that they have that interaction between these energies can cause the sustain of life. The principle of gender explains that everything in the universe has both masculine and feminine qualities, and that are necessary for the creation of the balance. The masculine energy is often associated with qualities like logic, assertiveness, and action. That's the male. And the feminine, it is associated with intuition, creativity, and nurturing. So which parts are you using? Because we tend to use one more than the other. Single mothers, we tend to be carrying more male energy than female energy. That doesn't mean that we cannot be sweet with our kids and we cannot be creative. But if you're not creative, maybe your energy, it is feminine energy, it is dorm. It doesn't matter if you're a male or a female. Gender is everything. Everything, it has a masculine and feminine principles. Gender manifests in all planes, the planes of the highest that interplay in the dual energy as the universe operates at every single level, from the physical to the mental and the spiritual planes. So tell me where the ideas are coming from. Think about that. The creativity, where is coming from? But where is the action coming from? The ideas, the creativity, the inspiration, how to fix solutions, it is the female energy. But the action taker, the one that's the doer, it is the masculine. Now, let's put it like this in personal development. A person is striving for success and in the career might initially rely on the masculine qualities like ambition, assertiveness, determination. However, to maintain the balance and avoid the burnout, they might also need to embrace the feminine qualities like patience, empathy, and self-care. They know they're gonna burn out and they cannot continue. In the interpersonal relationships, a romantic relationship in a partner might express more masculine energy by taking the lead with the partner on planning and taking decisions and making plans. You can see it in all the relationships we have that. Not necessarily how you see it physically. It is the energy they have in there. While the other might express more feminine energy by providing emotional support and nurturing. There's always in a relationship that one is going to have more male energy and the other one is going to have female energy, and that do not have to do with because one was born male or the other one was born female. That's energy. So like I tend to do a lot of male energy in my house, and sometimes that's where the battle is. Okay, in the spiritual practice yoga, the concept of Shiva and Shakti represents the masculine and the feminine energy. Shiva, it is the masculine. It is being seen the conscious of stillness, while Shakti, the feminine, is the dynamic and creative energy. The union of these two energies within a practitioner believing to be leading to a spiritual enlightenment. Think about that. Think about how we can have a unification between the two polarities that we have inside of us, the gender, the male and the female. And I will see you in the next video where we're going to be talking about the laws of harmony in the universe. Hi everyone, this is Mónica Ramírez, the Warrior of Love, and today we're going to be talking about the harmony in the universe. Fundamental, this principle governs the universe, emphasized in an importance and equilibrium in all aspects of life, physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual. This law teaches that extremes in any area will eventually lead to correction that is they can fulfill them and maintain in a state of balance. The law of balance and the law of balance remind us that with the flow will best. Hi everyone, this is Mónica Ramírez, the Warrior of Love, and we're going to be talking about in this video about the law of balance. It's basically understanding the harmony and the universe. Okay, the law of balance reminds us that there is a life flow between the best when we are in harmony with ourselves and the world around us, avoiding the trap of extremes. Understanding the balance means recognizing that too much or too little of anything creates disharmony. Whether there is overworking without rest indulge without discipline, or focus solely only in logic at the expense of the emotions, imbalance leads us to stress, or exhaustion, or dissatisfaction, or burnout. The law of balance encourages to seek in a middle path that honors the aspects between our being and our relationship with others into the universe. The law of balance teaches that everything that in life exists with a dynamic system that thrives in equilibrium. Just as nature maintains the balance through the cycles of the day and night, of our changing seasons too. We always have to create that balance in ourselves. If we only work, 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 without rest, we're going to burn out. So be aware of that. Balance is not just about equal parts of everything. It is a harmony between both of them. It is like a kind of a dance. For example, work-life balance do not necessarily means spending the time amount of hours at your job and the times of at your house. It is having that balance. It means finding the right portion that allows you to thrive in both areas without neglecting each other. And the workaholics like I am, we tend to work more, work, without, hey, let's just today just relax and watch a movie or go out and have fun and laugh with friends. That it is very, very important. Over over indulgence, it is one area of the life it is inevitably lead us to neglect and the other one. The concept aligns with the ancient philosophy of Taoism, which emphasized that the harmony of the yin and the yang, the balance of the opposite forces that creates a unity. The law of this law also touches the idea of the duality of the and polarity, suggests that the opposites of such as good and it can be bad, light and dark, happiness and sadness necessarily are parts of the existence of the instead resisting negative experience or striving for constant positive. The law of balance encourages us to accept both sides of the spectrum, knowing that each serves the purpose of maintaining an equilibrium. If we see it in our health, a balance existing in a routine might include strength and training, cardiovascular exercises, the rest in the day, allows our body to recover to prevent injury. What happens when you do too much exercise in your legs? You're not going to be able to walk the next day. So in the emotional part, in a clinical study, two patients might be given a placebo, but one of them who maintains an emotional balance and believes in their healing is likely to experience a better outcome because they are believing in that. Showing the balance through the emotions play a role in the physical recovery. Not necessarily because the placebo, it is sugar pills, let's put it like that, but this pill is going to save you and they have faith on that. They're believing in that. That is going to be created. In the manifestation practice, someone manifesting financial success might visualize their goal regularly and taking practical steps towards achieving, but they also maintain a balance and enjoyment. Let's say in the coaching business, I can tell you a lot of the times they tell me, and you're enjoying it, what class you're teaching, and you're enjoying it, because or else it becomes just a tedious job doing it. And the thing it is important that I enjoy it so I can give you a better service. You see the balance? In the emotional and the mental and emotional part, a person experiencing sadness might allow themselves to grieve, but also take time to serve care and focus on the aspects of bringing joy. You know how many people we have grief or the loss of someone, and then we just sad and we stop eating, and we don't want to get up. That is not bringing harmony in our lives. We need to maybe take a walk, maybe meditate, of course, eating. Take care of yourself too. That is important. So the applications for this law of balance is work and life. In the middle of the modern world, finding a balance between work and personalized life, it is a common challenge because money is always needed. Applying this law of balance here means that recognizing the need became time and energy for both areas, allowing us to dominate each other. So My guides are always reminding me, don't forget to laugh and enjoy it. So in the spiritual practice, a person that spends all the time in spiritual practices but neglects the practical responsibilities, they may have feel on the ground. I have met people in this area that is like, I don't believe in laws. Yes, but they cannot have a passport, they have tickets, and they might own fines with the law, and they don't pay taxes, they're gonna go to jail. So they have to believe it in, and they have to have a balance in there in their life. In the relationships, you give and give and give to the other person, but you never receive. You're not creating harmony. Let your partner also do things for you so they can create that harmony between both of you. In the manifestation, as individual manifest a dream house, focus on the goal, but also enjoy the current home. How many people you know that have all their life, they have worked hard to have their dream home and they die? Because they never took time for them to take care of themselves or the health or the mental issues, whatever it was. It has to be a balance. I recommend you to ask yourself, where in your life you're not bringing that balance?